Hey everyone! Welcome to the second episode of this podcast. A lot of things went pretty weirdly in the first one, so let's hope this, we'll smooth it out this time. With me is Leo Aveiro. Aveiro, do I say that correctly?
Aveiro.
Aveiro. Okay. So
Aveiro.
if you don't know Leo already, he is currently art director at OnePixelBrush. He's a
Wow.
and we became art director in like working there for a year and a half, I think.
Yeah, year and a half. Yeah.
So there must be something he's doing that's pretty insane. So yeah, man, how are you doing?
Doing great, man. Miss you a lot, man. It's been a while since we talked.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to talk on Discord quite a lot.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
in text form though.
Yeah. I just imagine your voice
Yeah. Is it
saying all those things.
is it everything you hoped it would be?
Yeah. It's everything and more.
And more.
Mm.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, funny is that we've actually been trying to arrange this for about a year, and stuff kept
Yeah.
coming up, and then I guess we both lost interest in starting it up in the first place and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm really
And
happy.
finally, you
man.
started it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to just do it and squeeze it in and everything. And we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll learn along the way. And
Look at you
Yeah.
with that nice blue rim light.
yeah, yeah, that's actually it's actually really fun to play around with. Like I had to explain to my wife why it was very, very important to buy all like these tiny lights and gear things, and yeah. But I guess
Okay.
I convinced myself that it's worth it. So
It's worth it. It's gonna be worth it.
it's gonna be worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the people that are new to this entire thing, which is everyone, actually, we're trying to like talk about design and design choices in general, not per se software techniques, although they often help you to be more creative when they take the load off your shoulders, right? I'm actually like really interested because I've seen your tutorial. We had like this in-house tutorial that's not free to the outside world that you recorded, and you explained a lot of things that you were doing. And the thing that like really drawn my attention was your working speed, man. And I'm really interested. To me, like it seems as though I almost think you sort of found a way to drop everything that's not necessary in creating a scene or in creating a design. And 3D happens to lend itself perfectly to do the exact opposite.
Yeah. It's really tedious sometimes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I'm wondering, do you consciously decide that would be like my first guess is like, do you actually sit down or write down and go like, okay, we don't need this, we don't need this, we won't see
Yeah.
this, or is it more something that happens automatically on your end?
Yeah, so it pretty much is the latter. It happens automatically, but just if ever since college, even like my friends are always so we have these assignments in art school, right?
Yeah.
These assignments you do poster design, you do like a font design, you do logo design, everything. And my friend will always saying that, "Dad, you work so fast." They're always saying that, like from the beginning.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so and our in our class we have this saying like, "Oh, you're doing the Leo speed," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
Leo speeds it. So I don't get it. So it's intuition, but when I did that tutorial for our for the in-house tutorials, I begin to write it down what I'm doing and what I'm thinking, and it all comes back to like keeping the flow, I guess. So
yeah.
sometimes it
Yeah.
works for people to write it down and what to avoid, what to think about when you're doing. But for me, what always happens is I always worry about the macros first. And in the end, it's really simple. Worry about the macros first, and you get into the tertiary things, you know, along the way. And then that's how just instinctively. So if we want to dig more, we can dig more, and we can maybe find some specific answers. But like the general stuff is just It just happens like that.
So you mean like you work from bigger shapes, bigger problems into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
smaller ones?
Yeah, because for me, if I always think now that I wrote it down and everything, I realized that I always think about like what I can do to achieve the most in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's how I think about it. So if we're to design like an interior, it makes no sense to scour the internet for assets to, I don't know, look at your library. Just put some gray blocks in it, find a composition, and you can dress it later, right?
right, right,
And then when finding assets, what I do is usually people will do like they have a one Blender file open and they will open CG Trader, will open TurboSquid and look for an asset like maybe a desk, right? And then they download it, they import it, and then what I do often is I would look at the image like at my block out what I need. Like I need a desk, I need a chair, I need a lantern, I need a lamp. So I will look all of them and I will import them to all one Blender file, the different
right.
file, and then I'll just merge it across like that. Yeah, it's all about the flow. Once the sacred flow is disturbed, it's hard to come back to it. So
Yeah,
it's about keeping the flow going.
yeah. That's true though. But I that whole flow thing for me personally is very
Yeah.
hard to keep in the first place
Mm.
while I'm gathering assets, for instance. You know, when I'm
Yeah.
dressing a design up. For me, that's like a very hard thing to keep the flow in. But what I'm really like, what I think that's actually a gift that you have is that instinct to decide upon what's important and what's not. Because me and I
Yeah.
like a lot
It's
of
it's called anxiety.
it's called yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I was cutting you off.
Yeah, no, don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, I just noticed that a lot of young artists and a lot of people that are with me on Patreon and students I have in real life, and me including, we try, and I guess that's what Ian Hubert also mentioned in the last episode. It's like we try to recreate the real world in 3D.
Yeah.
While
Yeah.
I think it's actually it really pays off when you think more in terms of a film set. So, and I think that's like what you do, like on a film set when they're trying stuff out. If they don't have the exact asset, they just
Yeah.
put in
Yeah.
like a placeholder table instead of finding
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
exact perfect desk in the first go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I'm actually wondering as well because I've there's one image that you did, which was like that grainy office scene with all the retro
Oh
desks,
yeah, yeah.
and
That one, yeah.
you said that took you about 6 hours.
Yes, 5, 6, yeah.
And I'm actually wondering, like, how do you even gather all those assets in that time, man? It's did you already have a lot of them available, or?
I have some of them available, like the books, the
Y-
computers that I modeled like
oh
in the
yeah,
past,
yeah,
but
yeah,
they
yeah,
they are pretty scattered
yeah.
around. So I just get it all in one file and I just copy it across, and then I would have a reference on how to, yeah, sometimes when you do the macro stuff, right,
Yeah,
you do the macro stuff, it's pretty easy because you're just thinking about shapes, composition, and lighting.
yeah,
And when you get into the tertiary stuff, you get more zoomed in, more microscopic, and
right.
that often will lead you to overthink stuff like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
how is that book supposed to be arranged? So you just gotta press G and X, G and Y, G and Z. Oh no, 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 G and Y. Just repeating all that task, and by having a reference, like a really solid reference, I can just place it there, right? And then there's that, and then I also have this back from when I was painting a lot in my old job. Like we need to have the primary, secondary, and tertiary shapes
mm-hmm,
at all costs.
mm-hmm.
So I think it looks that way too because I just spread stuff around. And I think Piotr Krinsky also does the same thing. You know, we don't care too much about accuracy as long as the tertiary shapes are there. People are
Yeah.
not gonna nitpick and why is the book like that, placed like that. They're not gonna be nitpicky like that
Yeah.
unless they are, a nitpicky person, which is, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope I hope this is clear. I ranted a bit there.
No, 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 no. Don't worry about it. Um, so if I get it correctly, like you mean like you just focus on the big, medium, and the small shapes,
Yeah,
and you don't
and
you
then
don't
the
really
small
care
shapes.
like if a book is clipping or let's say like let's say you have a bunch of monitors and
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you want to have them read in a nice rhythm. You don't care if one of the monitors is actually floating above the desk, for instance.
Sure. Oh, sure. I care about that, but
Oh, okay.
it's a pretty easy fix, right? It's rather than having it float, you can just drag it down a bit, and it's okay if it's clipping with the desk a bit because you cannot see that.
No, I just mean like if you want to create
Yeah.
like a certain read in the monitors,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
if you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to, you'll make a monitor float to get that read, for instance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah.
And in that manner, do you also, because you say like you have your reference?
Yeah.
I know that a lot of students, and perhaps it's correct, they
Yeah.
absolutely swear by creating a thumbnail first, and I guess in a lot of
Yeah.
cases that is necessary.
Yeah.
But I guess having a solid plan works too. Just as in,
Yeah.
like, for instance, I know that it will be not that busy of an image, so I
Yeah.
need mainly horizontal lines or mainly
Yeah.
diagonal lines. Or
Yeah.
do you think people should still learn how to draw classic thumbnails before they make a scene?
I do think so, especially in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of beginning stage of your learning, because that will what's the word? That will drill itself into your brain and turn it into an instinct, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
It makes sense, yeah. But I think I cannot speak for everybody, but I never do thumbnails
never.
for my work. Never.
You
I
just
never did
eyeball.
thumbnails. Yeah, unless it's a design. Like if I'm tasked to do like a bird design or ship, or I will do thumbnails for that.
Yeah.
But as for keyframes, I'll just model the set, and then later I'll find the camera angle, or I will have like a clear image in my mind on how the scene should be, and I'll just do that.
Okay. Yeah.
And I often approach it like a film set, right? If you're filming a film, like a live action film,
Mm-hmm.
you have a house, you have something. So, what can I do to first, utilize the space to create a beautiful image, like how the light, and then later, when I get the camera angle, then I tweak, maybe move the walls back a little bit more. So it's like approaching film or instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just two other ways.
So I guess like for people starting out, it might be important to just learn
Yeah,
the process of creating a graphic read of an image, like the
yeah,
thumbnailing process,
yeah,
just to sort of develop that instinct to what makes an
yeah.
image read and what
Because
doesn't.
be- because I truly believe if you skip that step, right? You don't even have to do thumbnails. You can just practice photography, find compositions,
Yeah.
as long as you're in. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
because you
mean.
you
Yeah.
skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you skip that step, you'll build like a bad habit almost.
Yeah.
It's like training martial arts. You never train alone. You always train with a teacher.
Oh, is that
Like
so? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because training alone only embeds your mistakes, your bad habits.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
thumbnails for me is sort of like that. I did a lot of thumbnails in the past, but I never did do them again now.
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, that might be the case because you did them. You
Yeah,
did them a lot when you
yeah,
were younger. That you sort of have that instinct, because I guess it's also like when you go onto YouTube, for instance, there's
yeah,
there must be a million tutorials about how to technically do stuff in Blender or in other
yeah,
software.
yeah. You can walk and you will stumble upon a tutorial. Like,
Yeah,
oh shit, tutorial on my feet.
yeah, and
Yeah, step upon it.
it's almost yeah, you might step on one if you don't look out.
Yeah,
It's almost as though the more people learn that kind of stuff, the more that they forget those basic fundamentals on how an image is being built. You know, light against dark, dark against light, where the lines are leading and everything. So I made this 9-step checking list for my students. Just on how to check if you made some stupid mistakes in your composition, like stupid as being not as efficient. You know, they're just guidelines. They're not hard rules because, you know, obviously you can defy every rule and still make a great composition. But just to start out, like just to make sure you're on the safe end, I made like this 9-step tutorial, and they're all very basic. They have nothing to do with shaders or like, are you using instances? It's like, dude, it's not important. But are you? It's not important for now. Learn, just like make the image read.
What GPU?
Yeah.
What GPU?
What GPU are you using? Yeah. Which is all important, but it's important for that flow that you just talked about. You know, like a good machine is essential to maintain your flow, because you remember what I used to work on, right? Yeah. I had the dinosaur GPU.
Yeah. You work on dinosaur images on a dinosaur CPU.
I did actually. Yeah. And I remember
those are badass.
But that process was so painful, so incredibly painful. just because of, you know, every decision, checking it out took a few minutes, and trying a render took an hour instead of a few minutes, and then the final render took me 6 hours instead of like 10 minutes.
But it gave you patience.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm pretty sure there's something brewing in my body still from that period.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. But that's interesting to hear, though. Like that you it's almost as though you're like a chef, and you cooked with recipes for intensely for a few years, and all of a sudden you develop like an instinct for what tastes good. So you can just throw together a bunch of ingredients and then sort of balance it out along the way. Like, you don't need to know how much salt has to be in there exactly, because you can fine tune it along near the end. That's actually
it's that.
Yeah. We can start a cooking show.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, I swear a lot. I can be Gordon Ramsay.
Oh yeah. I tend to swear a lot too, with periods.
Yeah.
With periods. I can be how was he called? Matthewson? You know what, a guy?
Who is that?
I'll send him through it. I think he's called Matthew Matthewson. Okay. He's like he's an awesome guy. But anyways, this is really interesting to hear, actually, that you did your hard training, and now you're reaping the benefits, because you can just focus on moving this stuff around and getting everything in there. But I guess for
if people are sorry?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, if people is familiar with martial art like Krav Maga, and I could be wrong and totally embarrassing myself right now, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. But from what I understand, Krav Maga is a martial art not about attack, but how about deflecting the attack from a weapon and running away with your life.
Yeah.
So that's Krav Maga.
It's defensive.
And then how you train it is not with specific movements like, you know, other martial art. It's actually training you to have a muscle memory to work like on specific situations. Yeah. It's like that, you know. It's art is like that. I feel like you have to train the muscle memory, and then you can work with that to create your image. Yeah.
So like you build up that library. Like you practice your punches 1,000 times, 10,000 times.
Yeah. That's why I always say to people asking for feedback, I was like, no, you know, I would suggest, if you have the time, if you have the resources and time to do the commitment, like leave 3D for a while and just paint a lot, do a lot of thumbnails, do a lot of studies.
Yeah.
It will really help you. Not like no other thing would help you. Like, that's really the basics of it.
That actually sounds like a really good piece of advice for people starting out, because if you think about it, there's so much they have to learn in order to make a good image. And it's not all visible. When you look at a cool piece or a cool design, everything that's behind it, like everything that makes it work, it's the better it's done, the more it's hidden, you know? Like you don't even see it. And so people focus on, you know, they start with the software and they dive into 3D, and they're learning 3D and they're learning how to do a good image at the same time. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense to like break it down
Yeah, sometimes
into
when people
parts.
copy like a good artist image too, right? I did that a lot too. And when they copy like do a study, they don't get the point on what makes that image good, and then they get the wrong, because why Martin image is so good, right? Maybe the composition and all that, but they don't, don't do that. They just copy.
Yeah.
They just see an awesome image and just do it. So sometimes that could be an issue.
Right. Right. And like it's you get how do you say it? You get cock blocked by the software, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Especially
It's
3D.
yeah,
Especially 3D.
especially 3D.
And yeah,
That's also I think a noticeable trend in within like new artists is when it was still like Photoshop, mainly Photoshop, at least
yeah,
then people were still like painting out the main shapes and you actually have like intimate contact with the shapes in your image.
yeah,
But now people are diving straight into PixelBrush and the
yeah,
shapes are already pre-designed for you. But you actually like you don't learn how to think about them in the same way that people did, I guess, when they learned. Well, traditionally, I think we came to a point where digital painting without photo bashing can be considered traditional traditional techniques.
yeah.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
yeah, and that's something that I'm also wondering about in terms of not just composition and everything, but what ties in more into, I guess, what I'm doing as well, is just the principle of shape design, of designing a shape, just a shape that looks good. And it can be everything, like a mountain
Yeah,
or a cloud or a bunch of rocks.
yeah. I wanna say something. Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Your shapes are killer, man.
Aw, thanks, man.
They are insane.
Thanks.
Come on.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No, don't worry.
again.
Don't worry. I do not feel about that the same way. But
Come on. It's great.
it's I often like, because I think on a very technical level, I think at least, I mean from a design point of view, not like the execution. I
Yeah.
try to solve a lot of things by function, and often at the very end I'm like, ah, shit, the shapes. God damn it, and it looks like
Yeah.
like I'm designing a robot, and it turns out like one of those clumsy 80s robots, like
yeah.
instead of like a badass robot. I'm like, God
Yeah.
damn it again, But yeah, I'm actually wondering, about shape design also. Do you have like do you think it's the same pot of basic skill, like the same boiling pot of skills that you built years ago, that you're still...
Totally, man.
Yeah.
Like, I really often see this mistake where they put, you can put details on the same distance, of course, but if you want to make something interesting, especially like spreading random stuff like trees, sometimes like a beginner will do like tree,
Yeah.
very tidy, and then tree, and you know what I mean, right? So the distance it's got a rhythm instead of tree. It's got a three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It ties that to that sort of thing. So you begin to see a nice shape proportion. You begin to see nice distance, distribution and stuff like that. And yeah, that I totally agree with you. That ties in with that.
Yeah.
The basics, the fundamentals.
Yeah, I guess what you
And that's even more rare to see on people, honestly.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, I noticed that as well, and I guess that's
Yeah.
also because of like the current environment. You've got the Quixel assets, and you've got the Vitaly Bulgarov Kit
Yeah.
Bash sets and everything,
Yeah.
and it's all
Yeah.
pre-designed. And
Yeah.
like it if you're just starting out and you don't know all the hidden stuff, like just the simple thing that you just mentioned, like create different distances between different
Yeah.
details. This
That is
kind of
way
makes it
too
up.
often happens on ArtStation.
Yeah. Well, especially like if it's not a kit bash piece, then you've got the same distance between details. Because you've got the
And
array
when
modifier, man. You've got the array
yeah,
modifier.
yeah. And when you don't have that knowledge, when you seek for assets, you will buy like the shit assets too.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it spreads to anything, everything.
Yeah, yeah. So what you just mentioned, by the way, I wanted to say that there's this book by I refer to it a lot, Edgar Payne, The Composition of Outdoor Painting. But it's actually very, very universal. Like it's about composition, but I think the best book that's personally I think the best book that's out there on composition. And the one basic rule that he starts out with is the law of unequal measures. And it basically states that, like, in order to make something visually interesting, you have to apply different measures to everything in your image or in your design.
Yes.
And when you start out with that basically solves everything in composition almost, and in design as well.
Yeah.
It's like, where do I place this window? Well, not in the fucking center.
Yeah.
Like off-center it. Well, of course, you've got symmetry in design, but that's more like a functional thing.
Yeah.
But just like the distribution of details, like where do I put this bolt? Well, not in the middle, like off-center it. Put 2 on the left and 1 on the right, for instance. Yeah. That already creates a lot of interest. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I guess it's the same when you like, I'm scattering bolts, but you're scattering rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the same.
But we're thinking about the same thing. Right?
Yeah, it's just different objects is all.
Yeah.
Because it almost works against our instinct, right? Our human instinct wants everything to be tidy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that it? Right?
It might be, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, at least for me, I guess.
I guess that's also like how it's often in real life as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the underlying aspects of all of it is really important. Just to state that again.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's all about the fundamentals, right?
Yeah, the fundies.
You know the name of this podcast is Fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have called it the fundies.
Fundies. I might change it just for this episode. I might. Welcome to the fundies, people. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah, that's like a really interesting approach. If you just like, you forget about semantics, it's not about bolts or rocks, or even though I love mechanical stuff, like in general, to make something look good, the law of unequal measures, that's like a foolproof way to go. It's not that it it's not that it cannot
almost like
work.
a formula.
Yeah, it is a formula. Like it's like applying flavors to food, I think a lot about food a lot. I like
me too.
But it's also very very funny how universal it is. If you just think about music, for instance, I've been thinking about this. It's like music is very boring as well when everything is on the same measure. You get like a bum 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 bum. That's like you've got like boring electronic music. You've got good electronic music too, but I'm just saying, like, once you start mixing up the placement of those beats, that's when it starts to become like a jivey rhythm, I guess it's kind of the same.
Yeah, it's the same, I would say. I used to play music a lot. I even made some.
You did?
Really critical. Really, I did. I can show you some later.
Yeah.
It's
Send it on through.
Really critical. Really critical. Like the silence between the notes, that is really critical.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like areas of rest.
Yeah.
Which is the same in design as well, right?
Yeah.
The areas of rest, which again is when you look at the current environment and you have like your quixel textures, which can be like very crisp. It's like sharp as a knife.
There's a grass. Yeah.
And if that's not enough, we'll apply a sharpen filter to it as well in Photoshop. Yeah.
I have become God.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's like a cool thing actually. I guess those fundamentals are almost like your basic essential skill set. Like
So yeah, I feel lucky that I spend so much time doing that. Like honestly,
But you also painted a lot of stuff, didn't you? Like
yeah, I
hand painted,
painted.
well, digitally, of course, but
Yeah,
back in
yeah, I get
back in your
back
previous
in. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
days.
yeah. I did like for. I used Blender since 2013, but
Oh yeah,
I only learned it to do some dumb stuff that I never post. But for my work, yeah, I paint like for like I don't know six years.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
and
I
I know
guess
that's not a long time. That's not a long time in terms of career, but it's longer than I have done with 3D.
right, right.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. I guess it's kind of same with me. Like I did a lot of Feng Shui style painting starting out.
yeah, man. Your paintings are solid. It's too bad we cannot show a lot of them like you did in house for
Oh
that one
yeah,
image.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, which that's actually like really I'm really eager to show some of that stuff as well because I think
yeah.
it's like it's fun to see the progress. But yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you did Feng Shui like the drawing and all that.
Yeah. I can actually
Oh
like
my god,
I can actually still draw, like I can just take a pen and a piece of
yeah,
paper and I can draw designs. I
badass.
don't do it a lot these days, but I used to
Yeah,
do it
yeah,
a lot. There was a period when we first moved in over here, I was drawing like
yeah.
every night. Every night I was drawing in my sketchbook, just drawing ships, like Marv ships and I was just obsessed
Yeah,
with
that
the drawing,
shows. That shows.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, that shows in your design. Looks like somebody think it through and have some again fundies.
yeah,
Fundies.
yeah. When you say it like that, it doesn't sound like an art thing, but sounds like a sexual thing.
Yeah, it's sound.
Have you seen
There's
my?
a blues music playing in the background.
Yeah, it's like, have you seen my
Yeah,
funders?
you know what's bigger?
Hey,
My fundies.
check out my funders. Yeah. Um. So yeah, no, I it's really interesting to hear actually, like how similar our backgrounds are in terms of how we started out. And I think that's actually like a good advice for people starting out as well, because I have a lot of
Yeah,
contact with young students. They're all like trying to find their way into a professional job as a concept artist,
yeah,
and I sincerely believe that like the learning software part is almost deafening for people at the moment, because that's
yeah,
all I hear. That's all people are thinking about is like, what
yeah,
software is it? What technique is it? Like, is it, oh,
yeah,
what plugins are you using? And it's all like that. There's none of the how do you make it look good?
yeah,
Why did you place this here? Like why are the shapes arranged like this, and why does the texture look that way? I guess it's like did for instance, did you do a lot of plein air painting, like not like digital plein air painting? Did you do that?
I actually never did any real plein air, but I did digital
Yeah,
plein air. Yeah,
digital ones. Yeah. Same here.
yeah,
Same
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
And just doing 5 of those actually like doubles your skill set, I believe. Like
yeah,
especially
man.
in the beginning.
Yeah,
If you just sit down and actually look at the colors that are in the real world and
yeah,
reflectivity and everything, and yeah.
yeah. The newbie gains.
Yeah, I guess they are. Yeah. And that's how it ties into training. yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You are you're a gym goer now, right?
yeah. I'm a gym goer, man.
Show me your guns.
What? I have a scissor. I don't have a gun.
Oh, that's all right. No. That's actually really cool. I was just thinking like my thumb started hurting last
Yeah,
week because I've been doing
yeah,
a lot of work the past few months. A lot of work, like a lot of mouse work. And now my
yeah.
thumb is all messed up. Like I can hardly grab anything with my right
Man,
hand at the moment, so I need to get that checked out. But I
yeah. You
also
need.
stopped going to the gym for the past few months because I was so busy. And I don't know, like for you, but there's a direct correlation between how I physically feel in all situations and if I'm going
Yeah.
to the gym or not.
Yeah, it correlates totally to me. If I used to have really bad sleep problems.
Yeah.
I cannot literally sleep. That's why if you see me on like the work Discord, I always online all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like your
Yeah, because I have
insomnia.
yeah, it's really hard to sleep for me, but since I'm going to gym, it almost disappear. And when I
Yeah.
stop, it comes back again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also I flow with work better too.
Right. Like your mind is
It
more
just
at
clears up.
ease. It
Yeah,
clears up your mind.
clears up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me it's I realize now how much of a necessity it is for me, not even like a novelty, but a necessity, because it feels for
Yeah.
me as though going to the gym like keeps injuries that are just around the corner at bay. Because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
moment I stop going, like this is the first time for me, but I get stuff
Really.
like my neck strains, my back starts to hurt. It's like I start to get really sluggish. I get
Yeah.
all like these little things that start to creep up, and the moment I start going to the gym again, it keeps it at bay.
Yeah, man.
Like it.
Lift heavy stone. Lift heavy stone.
Yeah,
Big sad go
yeah.
away.
Education is important, but muscles are
Yeah.
importanter. Yeah, but that's really cool to hear, man. I think that balance is. I didn't have that balance at all since December. But I'm craving it so badly now. To just
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you did send some videos where you lift like a ton of weight, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually started training back in the summer. I started training again. But it's like some work stuff started coming up, and like that's the first thing that goes with me. The first thing that drops out is that gym presence. But yeah. That's like, I guess, the primal thing that's left in me is like I like to lift heavy stuff and put it back down.
Heavy stone.
Heavy stone, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
People almost, correlate going to the gym not with artists. Don't you agree? Like
absolutely.
we're almost nerds, and nerds don't go to gym.
Yeah. It's like what
Yeah.
the hell are you doing in the gym?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But it's
I
so
actually have a
important,
really
man.
funny story. Like a friend of mine asked me, I hear that if you're going to gym, like your hands is gonna be so stiff you cannot draw like nice lines anymore. Like what? Come on, dude.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of myths around going to the gym,
Yeah.
and I get the fun thing is, like, to me, you can tell me whatever you want. I genuinely do not believe when anyone says like I do not love a muscular toned look. I'm not saying like balloon animal rich piana
Yeah.
taking
Oh,
that's not what I
really
mean, like the grotesque stuff, but I mean like the genuinely good toned people. I
Yeah.
completely do not believe if people are just jealous, man. It's like, oh yeah, but
Yeah.
he's just do you know he's not actually strong?
Yeah.
Which is a
Yeah,
myth, by the way. That's a total
Just,
myth.
just hit him with a car if you're not strong. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, can I go for a second? Like 5 minutes. Somebody's knocking at my door.
No, you can't. No, sure.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh.
You're all right. It's all right.
Okay.
I'll cut that out anyways.
Okay. I am back.
All right. That wasn't even a minute.
Yeah.
You were like 5
Tone
minutes.
buddy. Yeah. That's 5 minutes in Indonesia, actually.
Oh, okay. You have like a
we
different
operate on
physics operating system.
yeah
Yeah.
different gravity.
That's cool.
Yeah. So tone buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just like for me, all the complaints that people have about people going to the gym are stemmed in like jealousy. It's
Yeah.
like you look very good, and people subconsciously know that
Yeah.
a lot of dedication has to go in to remotely get there. There's like so much consistency and so much conscious decisions that you have to make throughout the day regarding food and everything
Yeah.
and sleep.
It's a lot in
and
common with art.
It is actually, yeah.
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 It's almost like I used to think that I'm just good at this one thing, and I don't need to take care of my body. And then I realized that's really silly because this is the only body that you have,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right?
Like you,
Art is important for life, sure, but what's more important is life itself. I think, like, I realize, and then after starting going to the gym, I'm even much more of a nerd than I was. I like researching about body mechanics, like hormones and stuff like that
oh
now.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's even bigger of a nerd. It won't turn you into an asshole now, unless you already are, which is
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's something people think as
yeah,
well, right? It's like when you go
yeah,
into the gym, you turn into this macho asshole
yeah,
douche type
yeah.
of guy.
Sigma grinds that.
The Sigma male. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's also like funny if you think about it, like when you're just going about your life and you're focusing on stuff and everything, and all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you're sick, like just like you have a flu, like a regular
yeah,
flu,
yeah,
and
yeah,
those few days there's only one thing you can think about, and that's getting better, right? That's like the only
yeah,
thing you care
yeah,
about is feeling better again.
yeah.
Now, like picture that
You want to feel
that
better.
situation is your life, that you this that you ignored, neglected your body for so long
Mm.
that all of
Yeah,
a sudden that is like just your definitive state is feeling sick in
yeah,
whatever sort of
yeah,
way. Just picture that, man. That's
yeah,
like the only thing you
yeah,
care
man.
about is like not being sick.
Yeah.
Phew.
And you don't even have to like go hardcore on it. Like,
No,
yeah, just be casual is enough, I think.
it's just like move. Remind your brain that you still have like limbs attached to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's like a thing I have when I have a very work intensive period. It's almost like I forget I have a body. It's like I'm just
yeah.
like this brain, this jelly
You're a
that's like,
processor.
is this me? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this.
What is real anymore?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But actually, like a while ago, I really enjoyed this. We did like an ice bath.
What is that? Ice bath?
A bath filled with like
A
almost
bath?
freezing water. Like it was a
Oh,
pool outside. I think it was 6 degrees or something,
wow,
Celsius.
6 degrees.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we did the Wim Hof technique. I don't know if you know about that. Like look it up.
What is that?
It's a Dutch guy, and he's sort of he discovered a method through like a breathing exercise that you can actually change your physical state, like because the oxygen into your cells changes, sort of like it primes your body cells and everything. It's really interesting.
Is it the high intensity one? Like you run for 2 minutes and
No, no, it's just like a
is that it?
breathing technique. It's just breathing, but
Oh,
it's very intense breathing. So we did that. Like we followed this session on YouTube, and then we went into the
yeah.
bath for 5 minutes straight, like all
Wow.
immersed, like all the way into here.
6 degrees.
And that's actually like the perfect antidote for like sitting behind your computer for like a month, being like, "Ugh," because all of a sudden your entire body it's there in the moment, and
Yeah.
it's tingling, and it's goddamn, man,
You feel
that's
alive.
yeah, yeah, you feel like you're it's gonna sound very cheesy, but it's almost like you feel like
Yeah.
reconnected to you step out. Yeah, when
Ancestors.
I came out of that pool,
Yeah.
the wind was blowing.
Yeah.
It was wet. The wind was blowing. It was cold outside, obviously, like because the water was six
Yeah.
degrees. Like it had been freezing and everything, but it felt so great. Like I could have stayed outside like for another half hour and everything. It was brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. And I think that's very important for just for young artists as well. It's like I'm not saying get into an ice bath. I just mean uh, don't forget that you have a body whilst learning
Yeah, don't
art.
forget you're a human,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Almost.
yeah.
Man, I cannot imagine temperature lower than 16 degrees Celsius.
Well, you live in Malaysia, right?
Indonesia, yeah.
Sorry, Indonesia. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Indonesia, yeah. Cannot imagine the temperature that low.
You can stick your ass in the freezer.
Yeah, man. I turned my air conditioner to 18 right now, and I'm feeling, already freezing right now.
Well, but it's not the same in Belgium. I mean, like we've had
Yeah.
night frost for the past few months. For
Wow.
I think the past 2 months we had it almost every night.
Wow.
So, well, it was winter, you know.
Ugh. Yeah. Cannot imagine that.
But apparently, it's really good for you, like the cold. If you I don't mean like accidentally fall through the ice because that will probably kill you. But I mean like consciously
Yeah.
stepping into a cold body of water is actually
In a
very
controlled
healthy for you.
environment.
Yeah, it's very healthy for your body and for your joints and your blood and your heart and everything. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm advertising. Yeah,
An ice bath.
ice Batman. But yeah,
Yeah, this is an
yeah.
ice bath podcast now.
Oh yeah, we changed. I changed the name when you were away just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Ice Bath Man now.
The Sub-Zero podcast.
Yeah, the Sub-Zero podcast. Jump to an ice bath. Yeah. There was another thing that I wanted to talk about, which is a very interesting thing as well. And that's sort of like when you pass beyond like the how do I make an image look good and everything, and that's
Yeah.
basically like how do you use 3D or Blender specifically to do the heavy lifting for you?
Yeah.
Because I think that's also where I used to go wrong a lot. It's like where you completely miss the point of the power of 3D can be like to scatter objects randomly, for instance.
Hmm.
And for so long, I was like, no, I'm not using particles. I'm just gonna manually distribute these plants, you know.
I'm a craftsman.
Yeah, I need to do this manually. While you can just switch the random seed until it looks good. But there's actually like this goes a lot deeper. I think like learning to let 3D do the heavy lifting for you can be so interesting. And I feel especially like that you must be tapping into that with your film project that you've been working on, Revenge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk a little about that?
Time. Yeah, it's actually accidentally starting that. I was just doing these keyframes, a series of keyframes where I really love like this Asian cinemas, like the Korean movies like Oldboy,
Yeah.
where they fight people and revenge is the story usually.
Yeah.
There's a revenge flick.
Yeah. It's like a classic grindhouse.
I did those keyframes and then I posted it and then I got my 3090 like a long time like a year and a half ago and then I think would it be cool if they move. And then I just start from there without any experience with animation, and then I learned along the way. Yeah.
So it wasn't your plan in the beginning to actually like make it.
Yeah, it wasn't my plan. I was actually doing like one sequence that I planned to post and be done with it, but I got greedy and what if we add this? What if we add that? What if it? And before I know it, it's a whole film.
Yeah, it's looking really cool, man. The last thing I saw about the thing you sent me yesterday. I was surprised on how the quality of the character animation improved.
Thank you, man.
Like seriously, it's starting to venture into like is this a game? It's like a game trailer now, or but I actually saw you at the Discord group that you're actually like experimenting with motion capture and everything. And
yeah.
That's what I mean with heavy lifting. Like you can try to animate everything manually.
Yeah.
Or you can move away from your computer and actually Yeah.
Just, come on. Why do all the work? It's almost like it's all about the vision. Don't you think like the pyramid, like the pharaoh got the vision, but he doesn't lay all the rocks himself.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
He have like the people are the add-ons or the softwares.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You're
it's almost like what Quentin Tarantino said. A director is when you tell people to do the job. It's basically what a director is. Yeah, something like that. I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah. Of course. But I guess that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, now the people is 3D software.
Right. That's an interesting approach. Yeah. But how would you? This is just something that's coming on like from the top of my head because you say like your vision, right?
Yeah.
When you're a young artist, like let's say you're just starting out, how do you even develop a vision? Because you're just going onto ArtStation and you're seeing all these cool
Yeah.
artworks and you're just like, oh man, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that too. Like
Yeah.
you're just looking at ArtStation images and you're like, oh cool, like a broken temple. Like I'm gonna do a temple
Yeah.
now, and then you look up some Blender add-ons like the one like that one-click damage add-on,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you have a temple.
Yeah.
But is there like a vision behind it? I guess that brings us to one of the most crucial things, I guess, is references, right?
Yeah, man. What you watch, what you see,
Yeah,
what you read.
yeah. Like you just mentioned those old Korean films, for instance.
Yeah.
Like I guess the the counteract of the American grindhouse films.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's even like I grew up with all those. I grew up with Asian fighting cinema,
yeah. You
basically
grew up
like
watching
martial art
Asian.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up watching grown up Asian dudes fight each other.
Were they
Yeah,
were
like
they
Jackie
naked?
Chan. Eh?
Were they naked?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. I'm just wondering.
PG-13.
I'm just wondering. I'm not judging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're open here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but this is actually like really cool to hear because it's like what are your influences? What are you looking at besides like
Yeah.
Blender tutorials, you know?
Yeah. Funny
Um
story. I actually don't want to get into art as in concept art or illustration. I actually really want to get into filmmaking,
okay.
but I didn't have the money to buy a camera or let alone go to a nice film school. So I just, yeah, maybe art is the closest thing.
All right. So like you actually
Yeah.
wanted to say your thing with film, with cinema.
Yeah, I really like recording stuff
Yeah.
and then telling a story with that. I really love it.
And did you actually like? Did you ever made like a film, like a physical film thing, or
No,
like you just dove
I mean,
into art?
I made for some assignments, school assignments, but they are really shitty, like
Yeah,
just a student film.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But every time we got that assignment, and I will be the most excited one. Like I will go around and buy the equipment, like
Yeah.
sets and all that. Like,
Now,
yeah, that's really it's interesting.
well, it's kind of peculiar that you say that because the previous talk I had with Ian, and
Yeah,
I see that with a lot of great artists. It's actually um whatever tools you're using, if it's Blender or a camera
yeah,
or whatever, like it can can be like a damn typewriter. Uh,
yeah,
it's just a way to get your message out,
yeah. It's a
and
language.
I guess that's like the most important thing, right? It's like what is that vision that you have? Like what is that thing inside you that must come out? That expression,
Yeah, you really want to
regardless of
say.
what way you're bringing it out. Because I've heard a lot
Yes.
of people go like, I don't want to do 3D. Like I don't like 3D. 3D is too technical. And it's like, but I think you're missing the point. It's not about like what tool you're using. It's like what's
Yeah,
that message that you're trying to get out.
yeah.
And
People often forget and treat art like sports. Don't you agree? In sports, all that matters is your technical mastery.
right,
And people
right,
equate. If you start using 3D, you start using photos, they feel like, oh, so you're running with machines now. You're not
yeah,
running with your feet.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's not the point. It's not a sport. It's a reason why it's called art.
yeah. Yeah, the technique should actually be like on the on the second row, right? It's like not the forefront
Yeah.
of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But where do you think that comes from, though? Because it that's a question I get a lot. It's like, oh yeah, what plugin did you use? Like, did you use Substance for that shader? It's
Yeah.
like, but the only reason that shader looks good is because I looked at like an old military vehicle and I thought like, oh, that's really
Yeah.
cool how the paint wears off.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the artistic voice.
Yeah, people ask how you jump instead of why you jump.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah. How do you jump? But I guess with sports, the technique is the tech. It's not that technique is not important, especially like in concept art,
yeah,
because you still need to make stuff look good. You can't just do like this is a picture of a monkey, but the monkey hasn't arrived yet.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
artsy
yeah.
fartsy thing, and you just show an empty
Yeah, I shot
canvas.
the monkey. He's dead.
Yeah, it's like there's a monkey there, but he hasn't arrived yet. You can do like an whole exhibition, like with 50 paintings with monkeys that haven't
Yeah.
arrived yet, and they're all empty canvases. I guess you could get away with that, like if if
Yeah.
you know the right people. No, but
It
anyways,
goes a little bit to one side. Yeah.
it's what I actually think is like an interesting idea as well, and I think it's sort of pushed to the background is for people getting into concept art, or like into any creative endeavor, is that you're actually hired for your brain, for the choices you're making,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not for the how well you know a certain blender
Yeah.
plugin, or like
I would
how
even
well do
go
you know
farther than
layers
that.
in Nuke, or it's like when you're a concept
Yeah.
artist, or like a creative director or anything, it's like you're just hired for the way your particular brain works,
Yeah.
for the
It's
choices
I
you
would go
make.
even as far as you're hired for your whole being because
You mean like as
it's
you as a person, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, your art is a distillation of you,
that is true. Yeah,
don't you think?
that is very
Yeah,
true.
I'm being so wishy-washy now, but
No, yeah, but it's not wishy. That yeah, it's because you can't exactly
yeah.
measure it that it sounds wishy washy. Like people want
Yeah.
exact, like what setting is that, and like
Yeah.
what value do you set your displacement at? It's,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're totally right. It's like the underlying what shapes you, and you can even,
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever noticed that, but it's like when you go into ArtStation, for instance, and you basically, if you would be able to look based on names, and you would pick out the Eastern European names, they're
Yeah.
almost all very hard surface oriented, very very
Yeah.
bleak, very realistic,
Muted colors.
muted colors, and it's almost, and then when you would look at Japanese names, for instance, it's very painterly. It's very, not
Yeah.
everything, but a lot of it, and it's very colorful, and it's like a collective trend, like where are you from?
It's
What shaped
yeah,
you as
yeah.
a kid? Which is crazy if you think about it. Like that ties into that you're hiring the person, not just like the hand that can click the blender settings,
Yeah.
right?
Totally agree, man.
So that's actually like a weird piece of advice, I guess, to young artists, right? It's like, be aware, you're like they're hiring you.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not hiring unless they specifically said to copy this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's a distillation. You're
Yeah,
not,
it still is.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it still is. But if that's like a whole different topic. It's like the toxic
Yeah.
part of the concept art industry,
Yeah.
where it's like, I for instance, I once I got an email from, I'm not gonna name any companies,
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
another art studio, and they had a painting done by OnePixelBrush,
Yeah.
very recently even, and they
Yeah.
asked me if I could do some quick changes on it based on another image that they found online. It's like, can you make it look more like this? And it was very badly translated, so my best guess, like they were using Western names, but my best guess that it wasn't
Yeah.
a Western, like a Western
Yeah.
client. But that's like a door that I just opened, like the door into like that toxic side of the art world, where
It
like,
stared into the void and the void stares back.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's did you have a lot of experiences with like the more toxic part of the art world?
Oh yeah, man. I spent a good part of my career just doing those type of work.
Really? What kind of stuff did you have to
Yeah,
do?
I did like a really dumb illustration, political illustration, like about Donald Trump.
Oh,
Paid
seriously.
like $25. Yeah, paid like $25, and that was like 3 4 years of my career just getting paid $25 per image. But you know, you're. I guess what I can get out of it is resilience and
That is true. Yeah.
and gratitude that I'm here right now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Very understandable. I mean, like you have a
yeah,
you're a goddamn art director at OnePixelBrush, man. I mean,
yeah.
come
Still can't
on.
believe it, but yeah, I also did for some. Do you? I'm actually. This is not toxic. I think I love it that I did an image for WikiHow. Do you know WikiHow?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, I did images for those. Those are pretty funny website, like how to behave like an anime, like those sort of
Yeah.
tutorials.
Yeah. 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 That's
Yeah,
really cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm really proud of that. I did images for them.
That's actually pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah. Yeah.
proud.
Yeah. But I mean, like we've all done. Like I think every professional, like you've got
Yeah,
some lucky shots, but most of us, like we did some weird stuff in the beginning of our careers. But sometimes
yeah,
it's just you hear about people getting like completely mistreated, not getting
yeah, man.
paid, or like endless revisions, and in general,
Yeah,
like it has a lot of people think that way,
yeah,
like being paid very badly, and which is very weird because like you have a unique skill. Like why should you accept a bad pay, right?
yeah. I guess because especially in my country, like art, you know the deal, right? Art is not looked at as a good career path,
Oh yeah,
and
tell me about
people
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and people tend to think it like it's not important. Why should you pay an artist this much? And then the artist would think the same. Yeah, why should I get paid that much?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a surgeon.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, like try. I read this quote. Well, it's not like a high intelligent quote, but it was just saying like if you think art is not important, try getting through the Corona lockdown without any movies,
Oh yeah,
series,
yeah,
books,
yeah.
games. Just
You
TV
would
in
turn to
general.
Netflix.
I mean, it's like life. You know, life gets pretty
Yeah,
pretty bleak and boring without an artistic expression.
yeah. During times of crisis, I think art boosts morale, which is really important.
Of course, it's
Yeah,
crucial. It's like next to just like food and water and everything, like basic care.
yeah,
It's just like if your morale is gone, like you're fucked, man. You're completely fucked.
yeah. Yeah, if you look at revolutions around the world, like you can actually dig and see how much art affects that
Yeah.
movement. Like really, they have songs, they have low symbols, they have
Yeah, and it's just like the concept of storytelling. Like the
yeah,
function of storytelling in culture is
it's
unbelievably.
fiction. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually our superpower as humans. The reason why we are more advanced than the other species is because we can communicate and we have the capacity for concepts like fiction.
Yeah.
So a tribe from the other side and a tribe from tribe B can work together as long as they believe in the same fiction.
Yeah.
They believe in the same narrative.
Yeah.
So how do you create fiction? You can use art. You can use like maybe we're one country. We're from the same country,
Yeah.
right? We're
Yeah.
from the same neighborhood. So those are the constructs that actually differs us together apart from the other animals that exist. It's our superpower. So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
sad thing that people put so little importance to it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's almost like a backbone, I guess it's
Yeah.
it's
You will
almost
never see yeah, you'll never see like a bunch of crocodiles agreeing on something because they're from the same river,
Yeah. Yeah,
right? Right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they work to beat the hunter. No, you never see that.
But I guess it's almost the same as I'm gonna make another food reference, so like
Yeah.
um, it's technically speaking, food is just fuel to maintain your body.
Yeah.
But actually, for humans, the concept of preparing a nice meal together, like a delicious
Yeah.
meal, is it directly ties into like prosperity and celebrating a life, and and
Yeah.
I guess that's still why you go to a party. There's food, like there's a big emphasis
Yeah.
on creating food, and it's been that
Yeah.
way throughout thousands of years. Like it's been that way ever since the first humans. It's just like a celebration
Yeah.
of life, and it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, sure, art, is it really necessary? Like it's not absolutely necessary for, let's say, like your objective survival, but just the
Yeah.
concept of fiction is so
Mm.
crucial for I guess like your overall mental health,
Yeah.
for
Bringing people
humans as a
together.
species. Yeah, yeah, I mean, like, just
Man, we go so deep into it, man.
yeah, but why not? Why not? I think that's
Yeah.
really it's really fun to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah. This is a philosophy podcast now, by the way, no longer
Oh yeah, it's called the
yeah.
Fundamentalists. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever.
It changed again. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's just really interesting, like how essential it is just for the health of human. It's like I don't know if you know Mike Hill, the concept artist.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, he does some great film analysis on YouTube and everything, but he
Oh, he
also,
posted. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, like he also talked about the importance of stories, like fictional stories, where he basically said like when his dad saw Jurassic Park, was, I think it was Jurassic, no, it was a different film, like, but in the presentation about Jurassic Park, it was with the film Hook. When they
Hook.
watched that together, like that film made his father realize that he never wanted to miss like any of the recitals or the sport
Yeah.
games that his kids played ever again.
Yeah.
So that's how important the story can be. Like it can actually change someone's entire life, and then the lives
Yeah.
of those kids following with him just by
Yeah,
his
man.
story. And then the other comparison is that he makes is actually like the story, the book. I don't know the name, but that actually inspired Hitler to
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah. But that's actually like on the basis of like Hitler's hate. It all starts with like one book, but just picture that, like how many people died starting with
Yeah,
the
man.
seed, just the seed, with
Yeah.
him reading a book about like why.
That's
I think it
insane.
was a book about why Jews would like why Jews were ruining a lot of different stuff, and like why
Ugh.
Jews were at the basis of a lot of misery in the world. Just just imagine that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it can make people believe in really dumb stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But that just shows like it's fiction, but it can
Yeah.
change people. Like it can actually. It's so funny. Like it comes out of someone's head and writes it
Yeah.
down or plays it out. But that fictional act actually changes reality.
Yeah. 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 Many people's reality. Many
Many
people's
people's
reality.
reality. Absolutely. Yeah. So so yeah, that's actually really crazy.
Yeah, man, the power of art, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's the title of the podcast. We changed it again, by the way.
Yeah.
That's like the
Change it again.
yeah,
Power of art.
yeah. We'll Leo and Martin show. The power of
Yeah.
art.
And we're just like this on the thumbnail.
Oh, yeah, and then we have like light coming from behind us and everything, and
Yeah, yeah, a halo.
yeah, and God rays and everything. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah, it was actually really interesting to finally have a talk with you, man. It's
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Finally.
yeah. We I actually like back then wanted to do it whilst working on stuff, but I now
Yeah.
discovered that's actually really hard to talk with people while working on stuff.
Yeah. And even hard to focus when you talk to because you keep thinking about that work.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll do that separately now. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what's in the pipeline for your film project? Like, do you have?
Uh I'm actually finalizing the last scene right now. The last
Oh,
sequences, like There are two sequences left, I think. I'm trying. Next week, I'm gonna go to my office again and then record some stuff,
Okay.
and hopefully that'll be done by then. And then I'll just do another screening of it to myself
Oh
and
yeah,
see if
yeah.
I can improve anything, and then I'll give myself 1 week to do all that, and then I'll release it. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully this year, yeah.
Oh
If
man,
nothing's going wrong.
that's really cool. That's really cool. And
Yeah,
and
I just cannot wait to move on to the next thing, you know?
oh yeah, yeah. That's actually like a whole different topic for perhaps like the next podcast we can do together.
Yeah.
It's just that concept. It's like you have enthusiasm to start something,
Yeah.
and then that's about 1% of the journey, and then the other 99% is just like the discipline
grueling
of
work.
getting it finished.
Yeah.
Well, whilst you
Yeah.
constantly lose your motivation to actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You start to have use your mind to do that, like, come on, come on.
yeah, yeah.
You
It's
know,
like, come
because
on,
the passion is almost gone, you know, you have to rely on your brain.
yeah, yeah, and then you start to hate it, like whilst working
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, that's actually really
Dude, there's
like a
a
really
there's a point when I really hated this thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, but that's like your brain, your feeling brain is playing tricks on you, right?
Yeah. And then I go to Bali for a few weeks, I come back, this is nice.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually also have like my long term project Marv.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
I
yeah,
go
I
through.
saw the
Sorry,
yeah.
what did?
Yeah, I saw your board for that, how many things that you have to do.
Oh right, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And it's still
Yeah,
going through. Like it's not dead.
it's gonna be amazing.
It's definitely not dead. But I go through periods like of absolutely loving it, and then
Yeah.
like questioning, right into questioning everything and hating everything I'm
Yeah.
doing, and just like completely losing that attraction, which is really yeah.
It
It's
almost feels like a gamble, man. Don't you think?
yeah.
You spend so much time into it, you don't have time to do personal work, your portfolio. What if it's shit, right?
Yeah, like what if it's not what it's
Yeah.
supposed to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess trying to detach from the outcome might be
Yeah.
like a healthy practice, like you just do it for the sake of doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're learning so much anyways along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with me, like I've been doing that truck design that I've been bothering everyone with like for the past half year. And it's like it's crazy because like concept art, you do 6 designs every day, but I've been working on that
Yeah,
for
dude.
1 year, like not full time obviously, but like I've been working on that and reworking it and going through periods of loving it and hating it, like exactly what you just mentioned. And then you're wondering like, what the hell am I even doing? Like, why am I still working on this? Like, it should be finished. Why is it not
The
finished yet?
doubts.
And then I launched it on ArtStation, and I guess I released it on the right time and everything, and the right tags and whatnot.
Plus, it's a great work.
And yeah, I guess it's not bad. And so it
Come
landed
on.
on the trending page for a good 3 to 4 days, and it was almost on top. And it actually landed me a new job.
Dude.
So
It's a
that's
great
like
image. Come on.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with how it turned out in the end.
Yeah.
There's like a few crucial mistakes to it, but but it's crazy because you're wondering, is it all worth it? Is it all worth it?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it just pays off in a drastic way, which is really crazy. Like also how you can very consciously change your own course. It's yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Pays off. Pays off in the end.
Yeah, like I'm really curious on where your film will take you. Like it's the same thing. You've been working on it for so long, and you can see it getting better just because you're at it, just because you're like reworking it and redoing stuff
I
and
am dead
reshooting
afraid.
stuff.
I'm dead afraid, dude.
Yeah, yeah, but that
Yeah.
that usually means though that you're going like to a new territory where like a new exciting
Yeah.
territory.
Yeah, and as I do that, I kind of lose passion to do like one images of still images too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if this doesn't work out, I have to get back to still image. But let's hope this works out so I can do more.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, like this might open like a gigantic new door for you, man. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. And then you might even become like Leo Aveiro, art director
Yeah,
slash film director.
director. Yeah, I won't reply to your DMs.
You're like, I'm sorry, I'm too busy making films now.
Yeah.
And then you have a
For
French
some
accent.
reason, I have a French.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
French accent.
All
Yeah,
of a
exactly.
sudden.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry, I
sorry.
cannot reply.
I cannot reply to your. I am very busy with this film thing. Yeah.
Security, I don't know this person.
Who are you? You are fired. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fired.
Fired. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah. All right.
Man.
Hey man, this yeah, you know what? I'm really happy with finally doing this. This is it's
Yeah.
been really awesome. I think we've got enough.
I'm honored, and I'm honored that you choose me as the guest.
Dude,
Really,
totally,
truly.
totally. Why not, man? Like, obviously, you have something to say. You know, like if your work is fantastic. You've been like a really great presence in OnePixelBrush as well. You know, just like you being you. That tutorial was awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's been so much
Yeah.
knowledge packed
Yeah.
into that, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Shady said I swear too much.
that's
Yeah. Yeah, I swear too much, man. Come on.
yeah, yeah. I can imagine like you'll go and like yeah, I actually just wanted to do like a little tutorial. Like don't yeah, yeah. Actually, like as a little lifting the veil, he'll be a guest on Shadi will be a guest on this podcast as well, somewhere in the next few months. So
Oh wow.
so that's gonna be really fun as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, he has some really interesting views on design and storytelling in general as well. So yeah, awesome. Oh, one last thing.
Cool, dude. What is that?
How did it actually work out? Like, how did you become art director at OnePixelBrush?
I don't know. Just Shady just asked me one day, do you want to become, do you want to get into the managerial role like an art director or something? If you want to try that, we can try it for 2 weeks. And then I said yes, and we did it for 2 weeks, and then I'll get the job now, somehow.
All right, awesome. Which is like hey, would like to do this? Yeah, sure. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm happy to try. Oh, it's one of the reasons is because Shadi knows that I'm working on my film, and I guess he sees that maybe I can do this job, and also that will give me more free time to
Right.
to do my short film
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I guess that's also why, and that's really cool of him to consider that.
That is really cool. Yeah. Oh, hold on. There's
Yeah,
someone at the
really
door.
cool.
Just one second. All right, sorry, man. That was my package being
All
delivered.
right, no problem.
Okay, yeah. So
Nice.
that's actually really casual. Really casual. Just like, yeah, you want to be an art director? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you got the job.
Yeah, and then it feels crazier and crazier as I do it. Like, as I realize, God damn it!
Yeah.
Like, at first, it was like, yeah, sure.
It sounds like this small thing that you say
Yeah,
yes
but-
to. Or,
Yeah.
like, did it feel like a big step? Or
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not at first because I'm pretty slow at realizing things.
yeah.
So, like after 2 weeks, I was like, oh, holy
You're like-
shit.
Yeah.
I have a slow response to
Yeah.
things. Holy shit. Oh, I cannot mess this up. It's like,
Yeah. Oh man. Cool.
oh, now if it messed up, it's my fault. That sort of stuff.
Yeah. You've got a lot more responsibility now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice. It's nice. It's really cool, Shadi, that give me this opportunity forever. Thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he doesn't shy away from like giving people a hand to move uppers or anything, you know. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and he said to me once, if I say you're good, then you're good because it's me who said it. Okay, Shadi. Because it's me.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you.
No, man, that's really cool to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. I think we can slowly wrap things up now. Like I said, man, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sure we'll have another one somewhere in the future, or we can even do like a separate series or whatever. We'll see like where things will take us.
Yeah, I'll be a friend of the show.
Yeah. Perhaps we could do like a panel someday, you know, with a few people. We'll see. Yeah, I think we can. We have some really cool opportunities. Yeah,
I'm up for that. Totally up for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Leo. I will speak to you very soon.
Yeah, man. Talk soon.
All right. Cheers, man.
Yeah. Cheers. Go open your package.
It's not even for me. I just receive it.
Okay.
I just receive it.
Okay.
Like I'm a pair of hands. Cheers, man.